I want to discuss all of this with our guests. Speaker of the Minnesota House of Representatives, Lisa Demuth, as well as Minnesota congressional candidate and former journalist, Dahlia Al-Akidi, plus our special guest, of course, Gerard Filitti, back with us here in studio. Welcome to all of you.
Thanks for joining us all. I want to begin by listening to what Tom Homan had to say followed by Minnesota Governor Tim Walz.
The hostile rhetoric and dangerous threats and hate must stop. And we all agreed to that. Everybody met here today. We got to stop the rhetoric, the hateful rhetoric that has caused an increase in assaults. I begged for the last 2 months on TV for the rhetoric to stop. I said in March if the rhetoric didn't stop, there's going to be bloodshed. And there has been. I wish I wasn't right.
We have got children in Minnesota hiding in their houses, afraid to go outside. Many of us grew up reading that story of Anne Frank. Somebody's going to write that children's story about Minnesota. And there's one person who can end this now.
Speaker Demuth, look, I think comparing anything to the Holocaust is reprehensible.
Egregious.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tom Homan was right to call the language coming out of there inflammatory. He was brought in to increase the dialogue and to calm things down. Do you think he will be able to achieve that there?
I do believe that Tom Homan, being here in Minnesota, will calm things down and help end that rhetoric. What you heard from Governor Walz in those statements is reprehensible, and that has been a continued pattern here in the state of Minnesota from our governor, always inflaming things and inciting violence. We're grateful for Tom Homan being on the ground so the federal agents can get their work done. It'll calm things down here in Minnesota and bring more peace to our streets.
Yeah, Dahlia, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey vowing on X to continue to defy federal immigration law. This comes after President Trump spoke with both Mayor Frey and Governor Walz on the phone after Greg Bavino was pulled out of the city here. The Democratic leaders there in Minnesota, do you think they will work in good faith with Tom Homan as this story moves forward, or no? Will there be cooperation?
Absolutely not. Let's not forget it's 2026. It's an election year. What we need in Minneapolis is de-escalation and common sense. And President Trump proved that he cares about Minnesotans and he cares about our district more than our local leaders. They keep escalating. They keep telling the people and pushing the people to go out, and their blood would be on their hand. But it's not going to stop, and we have to fight that narrative. They are responsible. Frey, Keith Ellison, Walz, and Ilhan Omar. They are pushing this because they're benefiting from that.
Gerard, I'll bring you in here. Do you agree? I see you nodding along.
Well, look, the dialogue that's coming out of Minnesota is reprehensible. You have an elected official who's saying, we're not going to enforce the law. So why are they elected in the first place? They're just escalating a crisis instead of telling people not to confront police officers or federal law enforcement, not to obstruct justice. They're encouraging this. And we already have people who've lost their lives. I don't see how this gets any better from Minnesota's perspective unless they de-escalate and start cooperating with what the law is.
So, Speaker Demuth, late last night, President Trump took to Truth Social to defend his DHS Secretary, Kristi Noem, and to highlight the border mess he inherited from former President Joe Biden. Speaker Demuth, the legacy media never mentions the progress that's being made on deportations. Should Republicans make Biden immigration failures more of an issue? And do you think DHS Secretary Kristi Noem's job is safe and secure for now? The president says it is.
You know, the president chooses who he will have in his cabinet, and he's done a phenomenal job of that. What I will say, though, is what we are facing here in Minnesota is directly because of Biden's open borders, and President Trump made campaign promises that he is delivering on. He is closing the borders. He is making our streets safer. As you saw and heard from our top leader in the state, that is not what they want for Minnesota. I am grateful that President Trump has sent in federal agents and more focused effort here to get criminal illegal aliens, absolutely violent criminals, off our streets. That's what needs to happen, and I'm grateful for his work.
All right. And Dahlia, before we close, we'll just give you the final word here.
Let me tell you that Governor Walz is lying. I am an immigrant who came legally to the United States. I'm an Arab American. I'm a Muslim, and I'm not scared to go. And I live in downtown, and I'm not scared to go anywhere because I'm legally here. This is the narrative that we're not hearing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's an incredibly good point. Yeah. So that is something that I think people is lost on many people who are protesting and are in Minnesota right now. Thank you all so much. Speaker Demuth, Dahlia Alakidi, we appreciate you joining us. And Gerard, thank you as well. You're going to continue to stick around for us all day.
All right. We're going to keep it moving.